viewers, you're watching the Saturday edition of 6 Stories at 6 and I am Rakshita Mishra with you viewers. Now, the lineup looks like this. First, we'll start with the anarchy and the unprecedented violence that unfolded in Leh. The normalcy is seeping in very slowly in Leh, viewers, but the investigation is now picking up pace. Police have found a link, a Pakistan link, a foreign funding link to these protests. Sonam Wangchuk has been put under arrest. He has been shifted to Jodhpur and his visits to Pakistan are also under the scanner. Meanwhile, India has shown Pakistan the mirror at the United Nations and how shredding Shehbaz Sharif in style at the UN. Also, viewers, there is a big and a horrific accident that took place at the highway in Gurugram. We'll tell you more about that. And story number 4 is Yogi Adityanath's dire warning to those who are stoking violence in the state. This coming in after Maulana Taqir Raza was arrested in connection with the violence in Bareilly. Story number 5 is the probe in Zubeen Garg's death that is intensifying. Lookout notice issued against Northeast Festival organizer Sham Kanu Mahanta and also Zubeen Garg's manager Siddharth Sharma. And finally, it's good news for Indian forces as in a bid to strengthen the air defense network along the China and Pakistan border. Indian Army has issued a tender to buy the made in India Ananta Shastra air missile weapon, viewers. Let's start with what's happening in Ladakh, viewers. Just 3 days after the violence and then 24 hours after the arrest of Sonam Wangchuk, normalcy is seen slowly trickling back in Leh, but the probe is only intensifying. The role of Sonam Wangchuk is picking up, is now under lens. Police is looking into the Pak link. Wangchuk's prior visits across the border, his alleged interactions with Islamabad-based officials are also under the lens. Meanwhile, Ladakh DGP has made explosive claims, speaking to Republic TV as he detailed the design of these protests. Here's more. What began as a call for statehood turned into mob rule. Fire on the streets, offices set ablaze, cars gutted, public property vandalized. With 4 people dead, over 80 injured, Leh had never seen this degree of violence. And now, 3 days after the violence, and not even 24 hours after the arrest of the alleged culprit Sonam Wangchuk, curfew has been relaxed in Leh. People throng to shops to make purchases as administration announces 2 hours of curfew relaxation. Shops with essential commodities and eatables have been opened, and heavy traffic was also seen on the roads of Leh.
A day after the arrest of Sonam Wangchuk from Leh, the situation on ground continues to be tense, but a peace is prevailing here on the ground. The security forces are maintaining a high level of alertness so that if there is any attempt to disrupt peace, that can be foiled well within the time. Right now, we are reporting from the road that connects the city of Leh to the Leh airport and the Raj Niwas, and here you will see that a lull is prevailing here on the ground. Nothing much can be seen except a couple of vehicles that are moving from one side of the road to the other side, and that too after due checking by the authorities. And here what has they done, that in the connecting areas they have placed the concertina wires. This is to ensure that no mob comes out in case the people plans to disrupt the peace.
Republic is on ground, tracking minute-by-minute updates on Ladakh. We also spoke to the DG of Ladakh. Normalcy seems to be slowly returning to Leh as Sonam Wangchuk has been whisked away to Jodhpur's central jail in Rajasthan. Slapped with National Security Act, locked in jail under round-the-clock CCTV surveillance. This after the FCRA license of his NGO was revoked on alleged foreign funding. However, Sonam Wangchuk has claimed that he had taken foreign funding to study sovereignty of a nation.
We are at Sikh Mall and now its registration has been cancelled by the Ministry of Home Affairs, and today we are showing you the campus of Sikh Mall. This property is of Sonam Wangchuk, the one who's been arrested and is booked under NSA, and he's shifted now to Jodhpur jail in Rajasthan. As my VJ Mubashir is showing you that here you see the boats that talk about the ice stupas, the frozen slopes, the icefall glaciers, the weather stations. He's giving a brief about the techniques that have been used and also the climate challenge, because Sonam Wangchuk is a climate activist, and then this is the campus that now has the cancellation of its registration has come from the Ministry of Home Affairs, because there are reports now that the government is keeping its eye heavily on the assets of the Sonam Wangchuk, the assets that he has made in all these years, though this is a non-profit organization, but his connections with the foreign funds where from he had generated those funds, the people he was in touch with, and how those people have helped him, because there are reports that he is in touch with the foreigners, and how he had managed his protest and his sit-in, because for around 14 days he was on a hunger strike as well.
Centre hints at a deeper conspiracy, a foreign hand fanning Ladakh's fire. The DG of Ladakh Police, S.T. Singh Jamwal, spoke exclusively to Republic, alleging a Pakistani linked to the violence. He says that a Pakistani intelligence operative was picked and he was sharing incriminating material linked to Wangchuk and his rallies. As the foreign angle comes under probe, 2 Nepali nationals have also been detained.
देखिए गिरफ्तारियां हमने इस टाइम कोई 44 लोग हमने गिरफ्तार किए हैं, उसमें मेन रिंग लीडर्स भी हैं, बाकी पार्टिसिपेंट्स भी हैं, पर साथ ही साथ अगर हम देखते हैं कि किसी की इन्वॉल्वमेंट इतनी नहीं है तो हम उनको छोड़ भी रहे हैं।
कुछ नेपाली नेशनल भी डिटेन किए गए हैं,
कुछ पहले दिन इंजरीज में 3 नेपालीज नेशनल थे, उसके बाद 1-2 हमने और पकड़े थे, पर हम देख रहे हैं कि हम जानबूझ के किसी को ऐसे नहीं पकड़ना चाहते, क्योंकि यहाँ पे एक कल्चर है, नेपालीज नेशनल जो हैं यहाँ पे आके मजदूरी वगैरह करते हैं, तो हम हर एंगल से देखते हैं।
However, Jammu and Kashmir Deputy Chief Minister Surendra Chaudhary has backed Sonam Wangchuk. Not just that, he has also called Wangchuk's arrest injustice.
सोनम वांगचुक को अंदर किया गया, वो आदमी जो क्लाइमेट की लड़ाई लड़ रहा था कि आज हमारी जो आप देखें जो क्लाइमेट जिसकी बात आज जब ये फ्लड आया जम्मू कश्मीर में पूरी तबाही मची, उसी क्लाइमेट के लिए वो कितने साल पहले बोलना शुरू हो गया था कि आपकी ग्लोबल वार्मिंग हो रही है, ग्लेशियर आपके पिघल रहे हैं। और दूसरी बात कि आप जब लद्दाख के लोगों को आज इतने साल हो गए, जब जम्मू 2019 से लेके आज तक 2025 तक जैसे आपने जम्मू कश्मीर को लारा लगाया हुआ है, ये लारों लपों से सरकारें नहीं चलती।
After 3 days of violence, normalcy slowly trickles back to Ladakh. Now, India delivered a searing rebuttal to Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's address at the 80th UNGA, and India has accused him of absurd theatrics, glorifying terrorism while mocking his claim of victory in a May escalation. Exercising India's right to reply at the General Assembly, Petal Galot, who is the first secretary at India's permanent mission to the UN, said that the Prime Minister of Pakistan had sought to portray destruction of air bases in their country as a victory. While dismantling his narrative, the first secretary accused Islamabad of shielding terrorists and peddling ludicrous narratives to mask its role as a hub of terrorism. Here's more.
Prime Minister.
India tore into Pakistan over Shehbaz Sharif's remarks at the United Nations.
When are you going to stop cross-border terrorism, Pakistan Prime Minister?
Cross-border terrorism, we are defeating them.
Exercising the right to reply, Indian diplomat Petal Gahlot unmasked Pakistan's terror mindset. Calling out the theatrics of Shehbaz, India exposed how the Pakistani Prime Minister glorified terrorism on the UN stage.
This assembly witnessed absurd theatrics in the morning from the Prime Minister of Pakistan, who once again glorified terrorism that is so central to their foreign policy. However, no degree of drama and no level of lies can conceal the facts. This is the very same Pakistan which at the UN Security Council on 25th April 2025 shielded the resistance front, a Pakistani-sponsored terror outfit, from the responsibility of carrying out the barbaric massacre of tourists in the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir.
India also nailed Pakistan for shielding the so-called resistance front, the terror outfit behind the deadly Pahalgam attack.
The intervening event was the destruction caused to multiple Pakistani air bases by Indian forces. The pictures of that damage are, of course, publicly accessible. If destroyed runways and burnt out hangars look like victory, as the Prime Minister claimed, Pakistan is welcome to enjoy it. The truth is that, as in the past, Pakistan is responsible for a terrorist attack on innocent civilians in India.
On Sharif's push for peace with India, the message was crystal clear. If Islamabad is serious, it must dismantle terror camps and hand over wanted terrorists.
The Pakistani Prime Minister has spoken about wanting peace with India. If he is indeed sincere, the pathway is clear. Pakistan must immediately shut down all terrorist camps and hand over to us terrorists wanted in India. It is also ironic that a country which wallows in hate, bigotry, and intolerance should preach to this assembly on matters of faith.
India further exposed Pakistan's duplicity, pointing to pictures of slain terrorists in Bhawalpur and Muridke, and revealing how Islamabad pleaded for a ceasefire after threatening India. India also dismissed Pakistan's repeated calls for international mediation, reiterating its long-standing position that all outstanding issues will be addressed strictly bilaterally.
Mr. President, India and Pakistan have long agreed that any outstanding issue between them will be addressed bilaterally. There is no room for any third party in that regard. This is our long-standing national position.
Taking sharp aim at Islamabad's false claims of victory after Operation Sindoor, India reminded the world of the devastating damage inflicted on Pakistani air bases.
A picture speaks 1,000 words, and we saw many pictures of terrorists slain in Bahawalpur and Muridke terror complexes by Indian forces during Operation Sindoor. When senior Pakistani military and civilian officials publicly glorify and pay homage to such notorious terrorists, can there be any doubt about the proclivities of this regime?
A stinging rebuttal, India's message at the UN was unambiguous. Pakistan cannot preach peace while glorifying terrorists, nor can it escape accountability for its actions.
Where terrorism is concerned, we are making it clear that there will be no distinction between the terrorists and their sponsors. Both will be held accountable. Nor will we allow terrorism to be practiced under the cover of a nuclear blackmail. India will never bow to such threats. India's message to the world is clear. There must be zero tolerance for terrorism.
India has once again set the record straight on Pakistan at the world stage, asserting zero tolerance for terrorism, reinforcing its commitment to holding both terrorists and their sponsors accountable.
Now, viewers, Pakistan intel operative has been picked up in connection with the violence in Ladakh. Viewers, Pak intel operative picked up, and he's accused of sharing incriminating material with Sonam Wangchuk. This is the big claim being made, a big revelation that's being made by the DJP Ladakh, and that's the breaking news we are getting in right now, viewers. That's in connection with what unfolded in Leh. Intel operative from Pakistan was sharing material with Wangchuk, and there's a dossier that has been formed for NSA for Sonam Wangchuk for his anti-national activities. Pak intel operative has been picked as he was sharing incriminating material linked to Sonam Wangchuk and his rallies. So we've seen there have been several of his statements, his speeches in the past, incendiary and anti-national speeches in the past that are now under lens, his visits to Pakistan that are also under lens, and his connections with Islamabad-based officers, Pak intel operatives is also now under scanner, and now an intel operative has been picked up. That's what's been revealed by the DGP Ladakh. Okay, viewers, now we shift our focus to the story coming in on 6 Stories. At 6, in the early hours this morning, tragedy struck near Rajiv Chowk of Gurugram when a speeding Mahindra Thar, the SUV, crashed into a concrete divider at the National Highway 48 that claimed 5 lives and critically injured another. Here's more on this story.
5 people were killed in Gurugram today after a speeding Thar SUV lost control and hit a divider near NH48. The SUV was exiting the highway when the fatal accident occurred nearly around 4:30 am. The 5 occupants, including men and women who had come from UP, were killed on the spot. While the 6th occupant, a young man, suffered critical injuries and has been admitted to Medanta Hospital in Gurugram. Soon after the accident, the police reached the spot, launching an investigation to look into the matter from all possible angles. The police have taken the vehicle to Sector 40 police station. As per the police, the high-speed Thar SUV lost control, causing it to crash violently into the highway divider. The police are also investigating whether the driver was intoxicated at the time of the crash.
देखिए, इस मामले में सुबह अर्ली मॉर्निंग आवर्स में करीब 4:30 से 4:45 के बीच में गुरुग्राम पुलिस के पास एक इन्फॉर्मेशन आई थी कि हाईवे पर एक ब्लैक कलर की थार गाड़ी है और जिसका कोई एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, तो उसमें कुछ व्यक्ति घायल अवस्था में है। तो पुलिस की टीम के द्वारा स्पॉट पर तुरंत पहुंचा गया था और इसी के दौरान एम्बुलेंस वहां आई थी। लगभग कुल मिलाकर के 4 व्यक्ति थे जिनकी स्पॉट पर मृत्यु हो गई थी। जो 2 अन्य जो घायल थे उनको भी पुलिस के द्वारा हॉस्पिटलाइज कराया गया था। ड्यूरिंग द ट्रीटमेंट एक महिला की इसमें और मृत्यु हो गई थी। तो कुल मिलाकर के गाड़ी में 6 लोग सवार थे, जिनमें से 3 युवतियां और 3 युवक थे।
The impact was so severe that the debris from the vehicle was scattered up to 100 meters from the site.
जो थार गाड़ी थी वो इतनी तेज रफ्तार में थी कि सबसे पहले वो इस पॉइंट पर आकर टकराती है और यहाँ पर टकराने के बाद आप देखेंगे कि ये जो डिवाइडर है कंक्रीट का बना होता है, पूरे तरीके से टूटा हुआ है। नीचे आप थार गाड़ी के जितने भी कांच है वो देखेंगे, लेकिन गाड़ी की रफ्तार इतनी ज़्यादा तेज थी कि डिवाइडर पर टकराने के बाद आप ये देखेंगे जो साइन बोर्ड लगे होते हैं कि आपको अगर लेफ्ट लेना है तो इस डायरेक्शन में जाइए, ये साइन बोर्ड पूरे तरीके से टूट गया है, नीचे की तरफ झुक गया है। और ये हिस्सा भी आप देखिए, ये जो जमीन में पत्थर गड़ा होता है, गाड़ी की रफ्तार कितनी तेज रही होगी, आप इसको ऐसे समझिए कि ये जो जमीन में गड़ा हुआ पत्थर तक निकलकर बाहर आ गया।
The accident scene was quickly cleared following rescue operations and forensic examination. Meanwhile, similar accidents involving a Mahindra Thar have been reported in recent times. Earlier this month, a woman accidentally drove a Mahindra Thar through a glass wall of a showroom in Delhi's Preet Vihar right after purchasing it.
Now, Maulana Taqi Raza, a local cleric and head of Ittihad-e-Millat Council, has been arrested for inciting violence in Bareilly, triggering violent clashes between demonstrators and police following the Friday prayers in Bareilly. Now, with the investigation underway and him being questioned, now Yogi Adityanath, the UP Chief Minister, has issued a reminder to those attempting to disturb peace in the state, also issuing a warning to them. Yogi Adityanath says that the Maulana forgot who governs the state, and those involved in triggering violence will need some denting painting to fix their bad habits. Bareilly is on the edge. Protests over religious posters turned violent after Friday prayers. Protests followed a call by Maulana Taqi Raza Khan. Thousands took to the streets carrying religious posters. The situation, however, went out of control. Stones were hurled at the police, their vehicles set on fire. Police responded with lathi charge, promptly arrested 10 people. Maulana Taqi Raza Khan was put under house arrest.
जैसा कि आप देख रहे हैं, सारी चीजें सामान्य हैं, सब लोग अपने काम धाम पर लगे हुए हैं, रूटीन में सारी चीजें चल रही हैं, किसी प्रकार की कोई समस्या नहीं है, सारी चीजें अब ठीक तरीके से चल रही हैं। इसमें अभी तक कुल 10 FIR पंजीकृत की गई है और उस सारी FIR में साक्ष्यों के आधार पर कार्रवाई की जा रही है। अभी तक कुल जो है 39 व्यक्ति हैं जो चिन्हित किए गए हैं और इसमें जो मुख्य साजिशकर्ता के तौर पर मौलाना तौकीर रजा का नाम सामने आया है, उनको भी गिरफ्तार करके न्यायिक अभिरक्षा में भेज दिया गया है।
UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath delivered a sharp rebuke following the clashes, saying that disruptions to law and order will not be tolerated. and that these miscreants will be taught a lesson.
जिसकी जो आस्था है अपनी आस्था के अनुसार अपने कार्यक्रमों को संपन्न करे, किसी को आपत्ति नहीं होगी। लेकिन आस्था के नाम पर तोड़फोड़ करोगे, आस्था के नाम पर आगजनी करोगे, आस्था के नाम पर राह चलते हुए नागरिकों पर हमला करोगे, बेटियों का जीना हराम करोगे और व्यापारियों के प्रतिष्ठानों पे आगजनी करोगे, पुलिस पर हमला करोगे, तो छेड़ोगे तो फिर छोड़ेंगे भी नहीं, और एक बार छोड़ेंगे नहीं तो फिर छोड़ोगे भी कभी नहीं।
Politics has started over the violence, with opposition leaders calling it a bid to divide two communities.
ये सब जो है ना, ये देश को बर्बाद करने वाले लोग हैं। ये सब जो है सिर्फ पोलराइज करना चाहते हैं, हिंदू मुसलमानों को बांटना चाहते हैं। मैं समझता हूं कि अगर कोई मेरे कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में कोई गलत कुछ हुआ है तो पुलिस वहां पे देखे और कार्रवाई करे, लेकिन आकर के वहां राजनीतिक रोटियां सेकना और गलत भाषण करना, मुसलमानों को अपमानित करना, मैं समझता हूं ये संविधान के खिलाफ है।
सांप्रदायिक तनाव बढ़ाने के लिए सुनियोजित तरीके से कोशिश किए जा रहे हैं। ये उसी जो सुनियोजित तरीके से तनाव पैदा करने की जो सिलसिला चल रहे है, उसी का ही हिस्सा है। बरेली नहीं, मऊ में भी ऐसा होने की खबर है। तो उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार की जिम्मेदारी है।
चूंकि स्थिति बिगाड़ने में वो लोग हैं जो सत्ता की छत छाया में हैं, या और जो दंगाई कार्रवाई हो, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी जरूरत वक्त की मांग है कि वहां शांति व्यवस्था कायम हो।
With violence and subsequent police crackdown, the situation remains tense in Bareilly. Another probe has intensified in singer Zubeen Garg's death, as a lookout notice has been issued against Northeast Fest organizer Shyamkanu Mahanta and Zubeen Garg's manager Siddharth Sharma. In this case, the bank accounts of Mahanta and credit cards have also been frozen. Here's a report.
Assam stood still as the voice of its soul fell silent. Zubeen Garg, the singer who gave India some of its most beloved melodies, died in Singapore last week after a scuba diving accident. But in Assam, it was not just the loss of an artist, it was the passing of an era. Streets turned into rivers of mourning as tens of thousands lined up a stretch of road to receive him one last time. But even in grief, questions are mounting. More than 50 FIRs have been filed across Assam alleging foul play and negligence. The state has formed a special investigation team, sending viscera samples for tests in Delhi. 4 names have emerged in the FIRs, one being Zubeen's manager, many of whom have denied any involvement or wrongdoing.
After a autopsy is done by Singapore and a most neutral country, there should not have been new demand. But as government, we are trying to accommodate those demands jate pisot ebilakok loi eta bitorko kora no.
A lookout notice has been issued against Northeast Fest organizer Shyamkanu Mahanta and Zubeen Garg's manager Siddharth Sharma. Mahanta's bank accounts and credit cards have been frozen so that he cannot remain outside for long. Zubeen Garg is gone, but his voice remains immortal. Even alongside the mourning, a demand for justice is only rising. For Assam, the music will never stop, even as the investigation plays on.
And the Indian Army is set to acquire the Ananta Shastra system to boost its air defense on Pakistan and China fronts. The project is estimated to cost around 30,000 crore rupees, and it will strengthen the Army's air defense, which plays a crucial role in thwarting Pakistan drone attacks like in Operation Sindoor. And of course, this is a Make in India defense system, air defense system. So there is a boost for Atmanirbharta in defense for India as well. Here's a report.
In a major push for indigenization in the defense sector, the Indian Army has floated a tender to procure 5 to 6 regiments of the Ananta Shastra surface-to-air missile systems to bolster air defense along the borders with Pakistan and China. The tender has been issued by the Indian Army to the state-owned Bharat Electronics Limited to buy the Defence Research and Development Organisation developed Ananta Shastra air defence missile system. Estimated at around 30,000 crores, the project is set to strengthen the Army air defence. The Defence Acquisition Council had approved the purchase of indigenous air defence systems shortly after Operation Sindoor in May. Developed by DRDO, Ananta Shastra is a mobile, short to medium range air defence system. The weapon uses a truck-mounted launcher, indigenous missile with a radio frequency seeker, mid-course guidance with two-way data link and an active radar terminal seeker. The operational range of the missile is around 30 kilometers. The system completed multiple flight tests and evaluation trials from 2019 to 2022 before moving into production.
That's all from our side on this edition of 6 Stories at 6. We'll be right back with the latest edition of our 4 Sports. Don't go anywhere.